we've got a lot to do with only a week and a day before Christmas. And we'll get into every single thing that is on our plate and every single thing that is on the docket from a content perspective in just a moment. But I want to begin the program. Well, let me just do this. There's Bell K behind the glass. He's making sure that everything that comes out of our speaker sounds as good as humanly possible. We call him Headless Bell. Think. We call him Headless Bell for a reason, because he chooses not to participate on the television side of things. More on that in a moment. Correct. Behind him is the one and only award-winning Ken Weaver. He is busily preparing new headlines in News Closet B for your edification and amusement.
Good afternoon, boys.
Hello, Mr. Weaver.
Yes. Good afternoon.
You can find us on 99.7 FM. That's 100,000 watts of FM power. You can also find us on your streaming application, any streaming application of your choosing. Just download us. Just type in Supertalk 99.7 WTN. Then, of course, you can also download our app. And what else is left? Oh, yeah, Talk TV, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Talk TV. Just like us and subscribe us. If you choose, you masochist in the audience, to go over there and see what we look like, you'll see me, you'll see Ken, you will not see Bell.
By the way, my beard has entered the portal. And I've already got an offer from Kennesaw State.
I've already got an offer from WABC in New York City.
They're looking for a punter.
You never punt. You never punt. You go for it, baby.
I would go for it. That's why I would not be a good football coach.
You'd go for it?
I'd go for it every time.
Ken, when did you first come to Super Talk?
February the 15th of 2015.
2015. Oh, man. Going on...
be 10 years.
It'll be 10 years in February.
Yeah.
Bell, when did you first come here?
2018? No, 2015.
2015.
Yeah, 2015.
2015. 2018, 2015, somewhere in there.
Late 30s.
Give or take 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, sure. I of course, we just celebrated my 3rd year anniversary at Supertalk 99.7 WTN. I first got here. My first day on air was December 13th of 2021. I've enjoyed every single one of them. I'm so appreciative of the opportunity. I'm appreciative of the friendships. I'm appreciative of all of you in the listening audience. And I am so dearly appreciative of the people and the friendships that I've made since I've been in Nashville. I miss desperately some of the friendships that I developed in Birmingham and always will. And I am appreciative of the friendships that we've developed in Nashville, Tennessee. And one of those friendships was with John Bozeman, a.k.a. Johnny B. Johnny B announced earlier today that he was no longer going to be with the company, and today would be his last day. It is not my place, and by the way, if it were my place, I don't know any of the circumstances surrounding how any of this came to be. All I know,
just terrible at eavesdropping.
Well, all I know, and I'm going to be serious with the audience for a moment, because I understand the emotions that go through the listening audience at a time like this. Because I've been through it. If you are in this business for any length of time, you've been through this. And if you are a listener, you are a family member. If you listen for any length of time, you become a family member. And if there's one thing that I'm going to say that might get me in trouble, it will be this, that the bosses that run our company do not understand that. They have never understood that. They have never, ever understood the deep emotional relationships that are developed on this radio station. They have never understood the deep connection, the bond that is created between the people that are on this radio station, the people that host these radio shows, the people that act behind the scenes, and you. They have never understood that. Now, I don't know that they can. I don't fault them for that. I'm not even saying it's good or bad. Because frankly, in some ways, from a business standpoint, it's good, because they are making decisions based on what is best for the company and perhaps best for the overall team, and not necessarily best for the individual, and not necessarily the most comfortable for the relationship that I just described. Outside of that, I can tell you this, that we found out late yesterday that Johnny B would no longer be with us. It is my understanding that and this is all I'll say about it because it's all I know about it. It's my understanding that that conversation was initiated by the company. Here's what I know. I started in radio when I was 15. I did it because all I knew about my father was that he was a radio host and that he was a good one. That's all I knew. I mean, I literally, from the age of 5 to the age of 15, met my father once. I saw my father once for a week. He took me for a summer because, unbeknownst to me, the court had ordered him to do so. Otherwise, he would have gone to jail. But that's another story for another day. Bottom line is, I watched him when I was 12 years old host an afternoon country radio show, and I was absolutely taken by the idea that when my dad turned on the microphone, that everybody stopped and listened to what he was saying. It was fascinating to me. And so I started in radio when I was 15 as a result of a lack of a relationship. And when this format got really special to me, particularly the talk format got really special to me, I started in the talk format when I was 26 in Montgomery, Alabama. And for the longest time, I thought it was about me. And I know that some of you laugh at that because you think I still do, but bear with me for a moment. Radio was good to me, and I hope that I was good to radio, and I hope that I was good to the community that I served, and I hoped that I was good to the people that I served, even prior to understanding the true joy and benefit of what we do on a daily basis. And that is this. When it stopped being about me and started being about you, it became truly special. It took me the better part of 15 years to figure that out. And I knew from the moment that I listened to Johnny B that he got it from day one. Obviously, his connection with Phil Valentine will be something that will be talked about and written about in the history books. And his relationship with Dan Mandis and Nashville Morning News will as well. Johnny B's not dead. Johnny B is very much alive, and he's very much a friend, and he will continue to be a friend, and we desperately will miss him, and we love him. On a personal note, as full of ego and bluster and sound and fury as I am, anytime you leave somewhere that you've been for 20 years and you come to a place where nobody knows you, it's a pretty frightening experience. And everyone from Brian Wilson and the wonderful dinner that he and Dawn and my wife and I had 3 years ago at Legend Steakhouse to meeting Belle Kay at Waffle House, which is so on brand for both of those two people.
That is so true.
and then every single person that I encountered from a work experience, and by extension, every person that I encountered in the extended Super Talk 99.7 WTN radio family was a positive one. And I cannot say enough about the people that I encountered, the people that I met. And I know this, there was one person who I knew that I needed to gain their respect, and that was Dan Mandis, because Dan Mandis was at the time program director, and he was key, along with Charlie Cook and Allison Warren, in hiring me to come to Super Talk 99.7 WTN. But the one person, and I'm not making this up because we're talking about him, the one person whose approval I desperately wanted was Johnny B's. And he was as wonderful a friend and as warm and welcoming and as accepting. And it's not just because I have a love for Waylon Jennings and Dolly Parton. It's not. Although that helped, I think. And that was a pretty wonderful thing. Because as I reminisce about his time and our time together, and obviously there will be friendships long, everlasting, way beyond radio, I thought back to the 15-year-old me, and I realized that I got into radio because of my father, but who I wanted to be was Johnny B. That's who every 15-year-old wants to be in radio. Every single one of us. We want to be Johnny B. And I want to thank him for his kindness and his friendship. And that will continue, and it will, I mean, listen, this guy has a hell of a lot to offer beyond these airwaves, and a hell of a lot to offer this community, and a hell of a lot to offer every single one of you that he calls friend. And we will continue to call him a friend. And we love him. Now, beyond that, I want to say one other quick thing about radio and what we do on a day-to-day basis. Because I mentioned that our corporate bosses will not, and I don't fault them for not understanding the relationship and the bonds that are created in this format. It is not for them to understand even necessarily, because it better positions them to have to make some of these types of decisions that they feel like, and that doesn't mean that we have to agree with them. But invariably, when any of this happens, those of us who are here, the Ken Weavers and the Bell Kays and the Matt Murphys of the world and the Dan Mandises, who, by the way, I know that Dan is hurting right now, and I know why. And I mean, we all get it. We don't get it on that level. We certainly get it. And if you did not catch Susan Valentine calling this morning, it was emotional. I mean, it was pretty special. Invariably, there's going to be emotions that lead to frustration or anger. And I understand that. And you'll see some of the posts, and you'll see some of the comments, and maybe you'll make some of them yourselves about, not getting answers or not understand. I mean, we are a forward-facing business. Most are not. I know that you want to think that we do things differently, but we don't. It's just when we do something, everyone knows it. Everyone. When someone is fired in your business, everyone doesn't know it. Or when someone decides to retire in your business, everyone doesn't know it. Or when someone decides to move on to a different job in your business, everyone doesn't know it. In our business, because of the nature of the family relationship that we create, because of the nature of broadcasting, everyone's aware of it. And so it is very much more public than almost any other business in this city or in this state. So I will push back on this idea that, we're being secretive or that it's all nonsense. It is not my place, I don't know, but it would be a disservice and an insult to the man that is Johnny B to say anything further, except that we love him and we will continue to love him and we'll continue to hold on to him. And I want to thank him publicly on these airwaves, and as much as I can possibly imprint upon you how good of a human being he is and how good of a friend he's been, and what a hell of a broadcaster. You are everything that I want to be in radio. And I will continue to try to accomplish that and achieve that every single day that I'm on this air.
I was talking to Paul, our boss, before we came on the air, and he said something that really stuck out to me, which was, it's if you're firing somebody for cause, that tends to be a lot easier because you have reasons for doing it. But when you're letting somebody go just due to budget concerns and issues that your corporation puts upon you, you're not firing him for any other reason than meeting those monetary quotas. So it's a lot harder to watch that person go when there's no cause for it in terms of Johnny did nothing wrong. We're just conforming to the budgets that we have. And you're saying things that I'm unaware of and I'm uncomfortable talking about. I mean, I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm just telling you that. I mean, I don't even know any of that.
I know that. I mean, I know what you're saying is correct.
Well, you know, as a boss,
but
too.
I also know as a business as a boss, as a former program director, that I know that there are times, hypothetically or generically, where people not in your city or in your state tell you that you have to save $100,000 this year, and they don't care how you do it. Sometimes that's easy. I mean, sometimes you're Elon Musk and you walk into Twitter, and you look at all of those people that have lives, that have families, that have retirement, that have health insurance. And, we all collectively kind of laughed at that because we didn't think of those people as individuals because of whatever. The nature of some cuts like that are easy.